Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Talk. I'm your host, Nancy Guitar. My guest today is a musician, a songwriter, and an audio engineer from Port Moody, Wayne Powell. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, I'm very pleased and thank you for accepting my invite, by the way.
Mhm.
So, what kind of style of music do you perform?
Very heavy music for the most part. I've specialized in heavy metal, of course, for most of my life. Some punk, some alternative things in there, and it's kind of a mismatch of that, but always very heavy. So.
So, when did you first get interested in performing?
It goes way back for me. I started at a really young age. Probably, well, I could start with listening to Kiss records when I was seven, you know. But I started playing in bands around 14,
Mhm.
15, started really learning how to play guitar. Worked really hard at it, so came home from school every night, spent hours practicing, and started playing around bands in the east coast of Canada on Prince Edward Island.
Oh, okay.
And my first band I was in, I was 16 years old, and it went from there. We managed to rent a prestigious hall called the Confederation Center of the Arts in Charlottetown, PEI, in a band called Street Urchin. And although we weren't very experienced yet, it was quite a proud moment. And people, it was the first big heavy metal concert in the province, the first big one anyway. And it was something to be proud of. We were on the news and everything, and you know,
Nice.
and it kind of grew from there. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, how did you end up in Port Moody?
Yeah, it was a long road. Basically, after that happened a couple of years later, once I got into my early 20s, there wasn't much on PEI for music, of course, and we were all very gung ho on music. So me and another band after that one called Socratic Method moved out to Vancouver in the early 90s, and tried to establish ourselves here. I mean, we were young, we wanted to be rock stars. I'm not gonna lie, it was a great experience. We all came out here gung ho, and it was a different culture for us. It was 3,000 miles away.
Right.
We went through a lot of things, a lot of crazy experiences, and learned pretty fast that it was about music and not being a rock star.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience. And in the late 90s, I went to recording school because I was very much into recording. I really love recording, and I still do. I went to Columbia Academy, which was on West Broadway at the time,
Okay.
and took a 2-year course of recording arts and engineering, analog and digital, and music management, and thought I'd have a second aspect to it, so I could supplement my income per se.
Right.
Um, didn't make a career out of it, but I mean, I did a lot of live sound, and I did recorded a lot of projects. After it became a reality to me that I wasn't going to get a job in a big studio, I invested in my own equipment, and I started recording demos for people. And I've done quite a long road of that, and done a lot of projects, and really, it's a labor of love. I still love doing it, and it brings me to years of living in different places around Vancouver, around the Lower Mainland. Um, and I ended up in Port Moody about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And so now I have a nice little house here that I rent, and I have my own little home studio in it, and a great band right now called The Labyrinth, and
Right.
we're currently recording an album, and
Nice.
that's the real short version of that story.
So, how many members are in the band?
It's a three-piece band.
Hmm.
We did have a fourth member at one time. It didn't work out, but we continued on and marched on, and we're almost finished an album now. We're playing around the Lower Mainland right now, and doing some shows, and still really enjoying this. Of course, the rock star thing doesn't happen, but I mean, I have my day job. I play my music. I record albums. I play shows. I'm still happy doing it. So
You have to do what you have to do. It's a that, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Now, I know you have a performance coming up on July 13th.
That's right. Yeah, Bully Studio in New West. Yeah,
Oh, it's in New West.
that's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's really good. Who is it, you that gets the gigs, or is it somebody else in the band?
It's generally me. I mean, it depends on how they happen. Excuse me. I mean, I know a lot of musicians around Vancouver and I have a lot of connections for being out here and doing this for 30 years. So it's not the hardest thing to get a show, and yeah, generally I'll get them. Promoters will approach us and say, "Do you want this show or that show?" And but we're always happy to do it. We play about once a month or twice a month, and always happy to do that for sure.
So
It,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just yeah, that's fine. I was just to say it's nice to be standing up here at this age after all this time and still be doing this and still be happy doing it.
Yeah, for sure. So I forgot my question.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I had a question. Oh, I know what it is. When you're performing, are you performing original music?
Yeah, it's all original music. That's there's I have a lot of friends that play in tribute bands and cover bands, and but it just doesn't really do it for me. The point for me is to create. It's a
Right.
very creative process for me. And that's what makes me happy. So and yeah, so we generally stick with playing with bands that do original music. So we have a collective show,
Right.
so to speak, and it's harder these days because really everybody wants the tribute bands, everybody wants the
Yeah.
cover bands.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but it's in way higher demand than it is for original music, so
Yeah.
it makes it a bit tougher for
For
sure.
sure. Yeah. Now, are you the only one who writes the music, or is it a collaborative effort?
It's a collaborative effort for sure. Yeah, it's definitely with this band, it's very very even. I've been in other bands where it's been not so even, and you're kind
Yeah.
of everything's on you, but with this, it's a very collaborative effort, definitely.
Yeah. I've talked to musicians, the same thing. I know one band, and there's only one person that does that, writes us the music and the songs rather.
Mm.
So it just depends on how it works for everybody, right?
Yeah, well, for me, I find that could be okay, but it's just nice to have an experience where when you bring something into your band and they add something that just makes it better,
Yeah.
and it always generally comes out better than what you had to begin with, and that's the magic. That's some of the magic of it.
For sure. Yeah. Have any of you had any kind of a formal music training?
No, not really. I mean, I learned by playing to records and guitar magazines back in the day, right?
Yeah,
It's easier for younger kids now because they have YouTube and all these things.
for sure.
Back then, you had to put the needle on the record and keep dropping the needle back in the same spot and try to learn it by ear. So no, not necessarily any formal training at all. Um, I wouldn't mind being able to know more theory and things like that, but I never found it necessary.
Mhm.
Hey, neither did Paul McCartney or John Lennon either. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It doesn't really matter, right? As long
no, it
as,
doesn't really matter. I think it's a great prerequisite to have, but I
yeah,
don't think it's necessary. No.
yeah, for sure. Um, when you're performing, like, what kind of reaction do you get from your audience? Are they like up there dancing, or what is it?
Um, Most of the time, I mean, especially now with this band and being more experienced, we definitely get a higher energy from the crowd. You can tell that they like it. Back in the day when you're a little more less experienced or maybe just playing music people don't relate to, not so much. I always kind of have the joke about your friends will come up and say that was great and nobody else does, but when you have people coming up to you that you don't know and saying that was awesome, man, that you're doing something right. And I feed off the energy in the crowd and I can kind of sense it, so it's
Yeah.
going well. I mean, we've we haven't had a bad show. Everybody's been great. All the bands we've been playing with so far have been great. The crowds have been great. Um, it's a high energy thing, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. Do you ever, like you personally, ever play with other bands?
like side projects and things like that.
Yes, yes.
No, I mean, I've been offered recently an old band I was in 10 years ago
Mm.
as kind of wanted me to go back, and it's just like, just don't have the time. I mean, I have, you know, I have a 16-year-old wonderful daughter. I have a day job that exhausts me. And it generally, you know, we rehearse in the Labyrinth once a week, but on the side, I'm doing recording. I'm working on the mixing of the album and writing the songs and stuff in between. So it really takes up a lot of my time. So I really, back in the day when I had a little more time, I used to play in 2 or 3 projects, but it was at a time, but it was exhausting, absolutely exhausting.
Right. If you were to advise young people who want to start up, what would you know, in particular, you would tell them?
Make sure you do it because you love it. Don't do it for money.
Yeah, you're starved.
Yeah, or end up being disgruntled. Yes,
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. It's hard, I think, for any kind of artist, whether it's music or anything else, to really make a name, like you know the Beatles or something like that, right?
Mhm, mhm.
I
Well, I
mean,
mean, there's you know, there's outlets today which are a
yeah,
little more, make it a little more easier. There's a lot of, you know, debate and controversy over Spotify and things like that, where it's maybe not so morally great. Uh, they take a lot of money. You know, every spin you make 0.000 cents. But at the same time, there was a day where nobody could hear my music. You know, now it's at the push of a button. You can get your music out there, and people can hear it all over the world very easily.
yeah,
So I think, you know, it's there's good aspects to it and bad aspects to it. Um, I the music industry has always been shady, of course, and it is in that aspect too. I don't look at Spotify as an income generating thing. It's generally just to put out a single and say, hey, this is what we sound like. Have a listen to it, enjoy it. We, you know, the way we're gonna go about things is old school. We're gonna release a vinyl. We might release a EP cassette, you know,
yeah,
uh, in the next couple of months. So
nice, yeah.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with
Have you done any touring, or are you interested in doing tours?
that. Very little. I mean, I did some touring in past bands that I've done, just like small Western things to Calgary and back and things like that. It's fun. It's not something we've really planned on in this band right now. I think we'd like to. Right now, I think our focus is just getting our first album done and you know,
Yeah,
playing some local shows.
yeah. So when do you plan on having that out?
It should be done in I would say, end of the year,
Okay,
realistically.
yeah,
Again, with all of us working, we all have kids and all that stuff. It takes a lot longer than just going into the studio and banging it out, right?
right.
So, and of course, doing it yourself. Yeah, we're looking. I would guess the end of the year it should be done. Yeah,
You'll have to come back on just before you launch it and promote it.
that'd be wonderful. I'd love to, for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking too that perhaps you could set up where we're doing an interview with all the members.
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
Or if
yeah.
you come out to Chilliwack, we can do it live.
That's sure. That'd be even better for sure. I think we'd be down for that. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. You know, I just tell people too that anytime you can do anything like listen to music on Spotify. I mean, I do that because during the night because I have the ringing in the ears, so I always have music on. But
Mhm.
being there live is just so much better, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And
I
that's something that can't be replaced. You know, with all this AI stuff going on, not to get deep into conversation about that, but live music can't be replaced.
No,
You
for
know?
sure. But even live interviews, you know, when people come
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
hear to my place, or sometimes I get to go to them, it's fabulous, you know. Oh, and
Mhm.
there's a bonus if you come here. I send you
Okay.
home with cupcakes.
Oh, nice. I love cupcakes. Cupcakes are great.
That's my policy now.
Very nice.
Anybody comes to my place, they get cupcakes I take home.
Excellent.
Yeah, so other than the performance, the gig on the 13th, you have anything else?
We probably will be booking more throughout the year. I mean, we like to play shows once or twice a month. They seem to be popping up more frequently. The more we play, the more we seem to be wanted back, and we're meeting more people. We're meeting some fabulous musicians that we're doing gigs with, and so yeah, I think we'll be playing very frequently throughout the
Very
year.
good, yeah. I think you have a website?
We really just have our Facebook page right
Oh,
now.
okay, so people can contact you on Facebook
Hmm.
if they want to hire you for a gig or like find out more about you, whatever it is, right?
That's right. Yeah, just through a labyrinth. Yeah.
Oh, through Labyrinth. Oh, okay,
Hmm.
okay,
Or personally, either way, it's.
okay, right.
Yeah.
I think we covered everything,
Okay.
but why does it say on your Facebook profile or just under your name, it says rock and roll?
I figured I'd keep it simple rather than writing a book. I'll save the book for another time.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Just stay on camera, okay? I'm going to talk to the audience, sir. So thank you for watching the show, everybody. If you want to be on the show, just send me a message. I'm on Facebook or I'm on YouTube or wherever. Anyway, so you've been listening to Wayne Powell. He's a musician, a singer, songwriter, and an audio engineer. So thank you, everybody, for watching the show. I hope you continue to do so. Take care, everyone, and peace out.